Melyssa Ford and DDG, my brothers.
You had a specific take on that.
Yeah.
What happened? I guess tell people.
So essentially, Melyssa Ford, they have been covering on the Joe Budden podcast. For people that don't know, she's a frequent co-host on the program.
Say she's a freak. But
This nigga's freaked out. But no, so she had a very interesting take, and she clarified it because at first she came out and she is essentially saying that like she didn't care about the facts. She just she sided with Haley.
This is before.
This is still like
Okay.
she still is standing on that side. But you know what it was very, very emotionally driven, but she's since come back and essentially talked about like the postpartum and what women go through and things of that nature. So she was trying to vocalize the struggles that women go through in justifying Haley Bailey's actions. But she also was talking about how DDG, she felt like weaponized his fan base by putting out the hashtag Free Halo and things of that nature. There's only one part that really stood out to me though, that was dangerous. And it was when she said, well, Joe Budden came back and said it again when she was like, I don't care about the facts. Like, I don't care about the facts. I'm on Haley's side. And to me, I was like, that's a dangerous mindset. Because when we start getting into that mindset of I don't care about the facts, Emmett Till got killed because we didn't care about the facts.
Yeah.
Central Park 5, people didn't care about the facts.
Yeah.
You have countless women who go and they are assaulted. I'm not trying to be extreme, but like because people don't care about the facts. It's like we're just going to go with our generalization. So really it wasn't more so about her take on it or her positioning with it. It's just that mindset that we see happening a lot of times where people don't go.
And we rarely talk about this, but we have a woman so we can.
Okay.
I seen somebody say this on Pop of the Balloon. And I was like, wow, I never thought about that. It's this whole era of woman being woman's woman. It's like they protect women at any cost or whatever. And it's like to the point that they don't care about the facts of the other side because they don't have an opinion. They just pro-woman. It's like, damn.
Wow, you can take it a step further. Go ahead.
I kind of disagree with that because, I mean, it's more so like a how they say it, a kick ass, ask questions later kind of thing. Mm-hmm. If we out and I see you getting into a fight, I'm gonna come help.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't care about if you was wrong or not. Nigga.
But when we get home, we're gonna talk about it. No?
Yeah, but I'm still gonna. Nigga, I already had your back at that point.
So, but at the sake of a conversation, we ain't in the fire. We have time enough to do our research. We have time enough to understand what's going on, and especially on these big ass platforms such as Joe Budden, where you just can't get up there and spew bullshit. So,
Melyssa Ford, you think she's ever going to be able to have a conversation with Haley about the facts?
No, but to say I don't care about the facts is the thing. It's not about. If we ain't talk again. We're not talking about her stance. We're talking about the fact that she don't care about the facts, and that's why I'm like. It reminds me of this whole era of like woman's woman. It's like. I almost think, and again, I'm not a woman, so I just see it and I see the jokes, and I'm like, it reminds me of that. I mean, but we have a woman here, so
we do.
I'll take the back seat to the woman.
So, I think that I'm pretty fair across the board. What's right is what's right, and what's wrong is what's wrong. I am still pro-woman, but if you're a woman and you're in the wrong, I'm not going to defend the wrongdoing. Mm-hmm. So. I'm not gonna lie and act as though I wasn't with all the other girlies about Haley and DDG. I mean, I'm not really necessarily a fan. I'm not super gung ho on both parties, but I do feel like sometimes we don't hold each party to the fire, right? And like Melyssa may have been saying, I think what happens when we get in these spaces of pods and things like that, we don't think about verbiage and what comes off and how people will stick to what you say. I don't necessarily feel like Melyssa meant it how it came out, but unfortunately, I'm the only woman on this pod with 8 other niggas, so they about to eat me up for what I say. So you have to be very cautious to what and how you say things, because I think I don't know if I could take the take and maybe like interpret it a little bit deeper. Maybe she was just trying to say like based off of what we've seen. Okay. I don't know, but now with the facts of Haley saying something about her mental health, and we just talked about this with Janiyah and Straw, It just runs a very thin line because I'm not a mom. I have never been pregnant. I can't explain what postpartum is like. I don't know if Melyssa Ford has children or not, but I can't speak to that realm if she has children about what happens when you have kids.
Can I ask you something?
Mm-hmm.
How many more takes we got after this?
Well, just the last. Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you this because you might not have had children, right? And I don't want to compare this in any sense, but I think the emotions of like your menstrual cycle may be a little similar.
No, not that extreme.
Okay, but it's
you do go through a roller coaster. Okay, of emotion.
So do you think as a woman, other women weaponize their emotions in any sense? If it's postpartum, if it's a menstrual, like can you see a life where women do that?
I have seen where women do weaponize emotion.
Do you?
No,
I don't.
Oh.
But I do. But I also see. I'm of a different realm. Like I work in psychology. I have my degrees in psychology, so I see things in a different lens. Like I'm a very bird eye view type of female, whether it's male or women based. So I don't. I try to be more cautious of weaponizing my feelings because I have been in a space where I'll be like, nigga, I was on my period. Like, sorry for being moody, but that also don't make it right? But I do understand that as women, we are more emotional than the man is, and we'll take things more emotionally based. Hence, you were saying earlier about being there for your old lady and making sure that you're there and you're present, but she may not feel like you're emotionally there. So now I'm like, goddamn, you don't feel the same thing I'm feeling? Like, what the come on, help. You know? So it's like I can see both sides, and I try to a lot of times understand where both parties are coming from, but I don't feel like, I think this is just a terrible take. I think the awareness of postpartum now, the awareness of mental health now has put things on a bigger pedestal, right? Our parents, our moms, our dads, our grandmamas, great grandmamas, all of them didn't have children, several of them, and then just continue to walk through life as normal. Now that we've kind of put a little bit more of a cap on what postpartum may look like, and this may just be due to the things that we're consuming. It may be the food, the drink, whatever we're doing in today's time. It may be now making things a little bit more heightened, but I just kind of feel like this is now a more public view, but also too, once again, social media. So many things are playing these factors that are making people more knowledgeable on what they're thinking. If you could think about what your grandma may have been feeling after she had your daddy or whatever, because she didn't have outside opinions of what she was going on, and if she didn't disclose it to nobody, she didn't have no way to think. Like, she may just be like, goddamn, I'm thinking crazy. Let me tighten up. Let me straighten up. But now that we can get on social media, just like how we have all of these pod spaces, you see men that come on these pod spaces and talk stupid as fuck, which give other men like, that think stupid as fuck, like, you know, that nigga right. He right, I'm right.
Yeah, no facts.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just all of now, everything that we have that's accessible to us, so much validation in the loop. So it just makes it harder to have these conversations because we know that we can use certain things as an option. And I don't like this. I hope that's not what Hallie is doing, but I do think that it is weird that, you know, just, I may play a little devil's advocate with DDG putting that whole free Halo shit. That was weird. I mean, like, why are we even allowing strangers into what this battle or whatever it is that me and Hallie got going on? I don't feel like it was needed. And she then came out and said they were sick. They had RSV. And now we're finding out more and more and more as time keeps going. And it's just now making it hard to really believe what's what.
So that's all I was going to say. Like, I didn't even know about that. I didn't even see that. But when it comes to like women weaponizing emotions, I'm wondering, because I don't want to make this a man versus woman thing, right? Mm-hmm. But I have been in spaces where I've seen that, and it's like, it's almost impossible. It feels impossible as a man to combat that when you know this isn't right? Because I want to be here for you, right? As a man, as your man, I want to be here for you, and I want to protect your feelings. I want to do what I can do to show up as the man that you need. But not a lot of times, it's been times where I've seen another side where it's like I can't almost, and it's like you want to be in this space. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to figure out, how do men combat that, or how do men show up in a space when it's not really healthy. Like what you're doing isn't normal. It's not healthy. I don't know.
So as from a woman's stance, right? I had this conversation not too long ago about how we got this thing with Tiana, Cash Doll, and Cardi B. All this shit that's going on with them. I think that what happens is men, we've all found a new word of accountability. Everybody now want to talk about accountability and what you should be doing. I think what happens is a lot of times men don't use the space to take the accountability. And in actuality, sometimes women just need you to say, you know what? I fucked up and these are the things that I did wrong. And I know that you know I did wrong and vice versa, right? How can we move forward? Because as women, we look for men to show us whatever this space is going to be so I can follow behind you, whether I'm with you or not. But if we have something that's a mutuality between the two of us, a kid, I'm looking for you to tell me how this space going to operate. Because if you the nigga, if you're not controlling this space or this environment, it's going to be havoc. And anytime that we see this, it's given that the space isn't controlled properly, right? You look at like the whole thing with Cash Doll. She got 2 kids by Tracy T, right? Before she popped out on the scene with
Zadarius,
right? Tracy T, you on live every other goddamn day talking about what happened when in actuality you the nigga that cheated on her. So you're now making this more public than what it needed to be because I've been quiet. Tiana Taylor, Iman, we've been quiet, but now we're using these platforms to become a little bit more public, which then now feels like I got to put my suit and boots on just for the kids to make sure that they feel at least sheltered enough. But in actuality, it may hurt the kids because when the kids get older, they can go on to social media and see that their parents were feuding. So it's like, I think you can be as cute, calm, and chill and not say much, and niggas will try to find a way to maybe pull it out of you. Or you can be as public, ranty, and da-da-da-da, and niggas will still try to find a way to pull it out of you. So when I feel like we need to all go to a town hall meeting and have the conversation so we figure out how we can come to a conclusion. But I just think that it's very hard to, if you're a woman's or a man's man, just stand on principality. If you serious about your child, take your emotions out of it and make sure that the center focus is the kid. Because you don't want anything to trigger that mom knowing that shit's not going to work out in your favor, right? We know that the system isn't cultivated for black men. So even the smallest bark will be the biggest bite.
And I understand, I guess the unfortunate and
vetting who you haven't and who you dealing with.
That's a fact.
So you got to vet like this. We at the age now, and they are young. These DDG and Halle are young, but you almost have to vet who you dealing with, and you have to almost see everybody damn near in every goddamn season before you even make a damn unlock and load, because you don't know where people can become vindictive.
And that's a fact. So I guess the frustrating part about this, and I mean this with all due respect, I'm trying to say it in the nicest way possible. I'm not trying to be rude or nothing. I know sometimes I say things that sound crazy, but I ask you, how do men deal with women who like weaponize their emotions? I ain't really get an answer. It's like you almost excuse it, because I'm not talking about the woman who, like, because emotions is real, right? I'm not about to sit up here and act like, yeah, you having your menstrual, you going through postpartum, that's a real feeling. But it's a space where some women weaponize that. Not saying, like, I'm not talking about the regular emotion, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's some women who are vindictive, like, intentionally, and they know what they're doing, and they manipulate in this space.
I did answer it, because I said it takes accountability, because as a man, when you went to go vet that girl, did you not vet her well enough to know that she possibly has this in her to do so? So the accountability goes on both halves, right? Yeah, this is a mutual thing that we both decided to go into to deal with. As a woman, I may know the type of nigga you might be, and as a nigga, you should know the type of woman that I may be. So if you're not vetting me well enough.
Have you ever dealt with a man who you thought was one way, but then you figured out he was somebody different?
But it come up. Them red flags are there.
That's what I said. I'm not trying to make this, because I don't want to make this like,
no, it's not like a...
I'm really just trying to say, like, when you in that space,
when you're in that space, and you didn't vet it,
as a woman, what would you say to women to hold them accountable? Because we hold men accountable all the time. Okay. And I try not to like say what women should do, because that's not really my job. As a woman who's seen it, as a woman who works in the mental health space, like, what do you say to those women who intentionally manipulate their feelings to weaponize it against men?
Well, what I would say in that space to a woman that is intentionally manipulating anyone is you definitely have to take yourself out of the situation. Once again, back to that bird eye view. You got to look at all parties involved. But the unfortunate part is, let me not try to make an excuse. What happens is the majority may not look at the view how we should. You should take self out of whatever the situation is sometimes to better dissect what's going on. However, with women using,
the woman is kicking her ass.
Yeah, it is.
I've been watching it.
Her mind, she really a woman's woman, and she like, I'll stand with my.
No, and it's not even me standing with my bitches, but not everybody. This is the problem that I feel like I'm like a reformed woman's woman. I'm not in that space anymore.
You understand it.
I get it. I get women that don't have the proper tools to remove themselves from self. I get that. I can have empathy for somebody who's going through a postpartum or going through. I ain't no bitch that be on, like, when I'm on my menstrual, I don't be that moody. I might just want to be loved on, but as far as being nasty and catty, I'm not that. So I understand that there are people like that in the world. So it's hard for me to, if it's not my reality, it's hard for me to put it in there. Now, you ask me about another topic, then we can talk about another topic. But women that are actually weaponizing emotion, they should be held to the fire for it. You shouldn't be saying anybody took advantage of you X, Y, and Z, or this nigga was doing X, Y, and Z and you keeping a baby. It's not right. And I have friends that may have children who aren't getting along with their child's father. And I'm saying at the end of the day, the kid is the root. This is going to be affected the most. Right. And we see this now. Our generation is seeing what took place from childhood trauma into your adulthood. And we're trying to correct it. So we can't continue to cycle if we're not going to be. So we have to remove ourselves from that. But it's just hard for me to say like what you can do when everybody is personalized based. I mean, I can tell you like you have to look at things from a bird's eye view and not take it as personal, but it's hard because your emotions in it, or it's hard because your feelings in it, or it's hard because I once loved this person, fucked around and fell in love with a nigga I thought he was and he wasn't. And vice versa, not you. Vice versa, you know what I mean? Like, y'all, we all fall in love with people that we think that they are, and things happen. You have children, life changes, you may lose a parent, and you change. You know, with times, I'm not the same person I was when I was 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 25. Hell, that's when my front lobe was fully developed. I'm not that same girl. And that was literally 7 years ago.
I only ask because I be trying to get all these, because it's so easy to be like, well, men and women, and I be just wondering from a woman perspective, like, how does that work? And I
mean, I think it's hard to say because like you said, you know, it's with being in this space, you can't generalize it all as much as you would want to. And because women are more complex with emotions, it's hard to remove emotion from something that's so emotional.
Okay. I mean, I think...
But what do you feel like the solution would be if you were in a situation where somebody weaponized their emotions against you in something that you feel like you don't have a lasting fight in, then what?
I go back to like just compatibility and really diving deep into what you want and what you aren't willing to deal with. Somebody told me something. It was one of my friends, and he's like, "The problem is you gotta leave." No. Oh, the problem is people make too many sacrifices and not enough decisions. And it's like, once you vet somebody and know that this is somebody that you want to be with, then everything past that is a decision. It's not a sacrifice. Because when we start making decisions, that's when you start. I mean, when you start making sacrifices, now it's like that's when resentment. And I'm compromising. But when I'm with somebody that I know I want to be with, now I choose to do this. So now I'm not looking at you as you should do something in return because I did this. No, it's a decision that I made, and I'm standing on that. So like, it is a hard conversation to have. So when I think about it, it goes in the beginning of choosing the right partner, right? But then also understanding that each person, I think, each individual need to love themselves enough to know that I don't want to be this person to anybody, not even just you because you with me. So like, when it comes to men not cheating, like I don't want to be a cheater, right? Like, granted, you're my woman. You probably want me to hear. You probably want to hear that I'm not cheating because it's you and you so special. But no, I don't want to be that man, right? And I think woman. And again, I'm trying to, because I don't want to say what women should do, especially on the internet nowadays. But I feel like if more women were more accountable, and all of us, right? But if more women were more accountable for how they treat people in those moments,
bad spaces,
in those bad
or discomfort,
in those discomfort spaces. I know that doesn't come a lot, right? But you still need to be accountable for those moments because so you can get better, and so we can move forward. So it's not just like sweet, because we have feelings too.
So my question is then, right? Say for instance, I mean, we saying postpartum or menstrual time, right? Emotions are in heighten. We got to look forward to, as a man, you have to look forward to somebody's emotions being up in array once a month or every time we got a kid, however long the postpartum may last. Is that fair for you to have to endure whatever the emotional spew is to you?
I don't know.
I say yeah.
You say it's fair?
I think so.
Why?
You don't got to deal with it. That's the price.
It's the price that we pay.
We're dealing with women. That's what come with it. I mean, it's not something that they, from what I gather, it's like it's an emotional imbalance, right?
Yeah, your hormones are stupid as hell.
Like, it's tough. It's annoying, but it's like my job. Like, it's like a job. You know what I'm saying? There's certain shit you just got to deal with. You don't like it, but it's.
I don't think you have to deal with somebody being a mean person to you.
I don't think it's necessarily emotional.
Again, I don't want us to lose track of the conversation that I'm trying to have. It's not about being emotional, because I'm not that insensitive to be like somebody's emotional. No, I'm saying for the sake of somebody
mistreating you,
weaponizing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you should understand that's something that you deal with somebody, like being emotional, you like change of emotion imbalances, things like that, for sure, 100%. But that's not the conversation that I'm having.
No,
I'm not having that conversation.
So what she said was having to deal with
whatever the emo. I mean, I didn't take it as though
whatever though.
Okay, I wasn't taking it as you were saying mean. I would say, you said weaponizing. Weaponizing can be, that's subjective to somebody, right? Because I mean, you're speaking from a mean context. Somebody saying something weaponizing to them may be something different. So I didn't really know in what lieu. So I was just speaking as a
I'm saying weaponizing negative anyway. Like whatever, like
anything negative,
manipulate.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like me saying that I could weaponize my authority, right? Like, I pay the bill, so I should be able to do this. That's not right.
No,
you know what I'm saying? That's not right. So
it's weaponizing.
So I'm saying in a sense that a woman is like you said before, like you've done it before, and that doesn't say that that's who you are as a person.
Right.
But you say like, yo, I was like that, I was on my period, so what?
Yeah.
No, like,
that don't make it good.
And some people can live in that space during those times, not even in retrospect, because it's one thing to be in that space retrospect, like, you know what? You know what I'm saying? But even in that space, like, I know I'm like this, so you're going to just have to take what come with it. No, that's not right. I don't think that's right.
No, I agree. And I try to, like I said, when you become more cautious of things that you've done in your past, as a woman or as whoever, you should want to be able to be better. And you don't want to be that partner or that person that is looked at like, oh, shit, okay, it's that time of the year or that time of the month. We just need to go on and just make sure we just stay out of her way, because she's going to end up casting the entire room out, and everybody not gonna want to be here, and everybody gonna feel uncomfortable, type of thing. And I've been around people that's like that, and it can be uncomfortable, but I don't know. It's like the catch-22.
Yeah, no, it is, and that's why I said I'm not trying to make it no. I don't want to make it a man. That's so easy to do that, and I think that's so lazy. I want to have the conversation of like, how do we deal with each other? Even if I don't know if there's like a real answer. I think it's just like you said, if you really love this person and you vetted them enough, I mean, they're just gonna come with this was
just put up with it.
I mean, it's just
the job. That's what I was saying.
Just put up with it.
It's just so much like, this my boo, I love her enough to just.
As soon as men and women can find a space
common ground,
we can just be like working together, the world will be a better place.
Black men and women, right?
But no, also dealing with people. But also, I'm gonna let you. We gotta wrap it up soon. But also dealing with people that we can deal with, because there's some spaces where, like, I might be nonchalant, right? Why would I deal with a woman who can't take that?
No, that's facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, now we're asking to be as smoke with each other, because it doesn't make you a bad person for how you react to me, and it doesn't make me a bad person for how I'm doing what I'm doing. But if we in spaces where we deal with people like, you know what, that's something I'm not
fucking with.
You know what I'm saying?
As men, all women will get on our nerves in some space.
For sure.
My lady will wake me up at 8:00 in the morning.
Be careful.
And go ask me to go get her yogurt out the refrigerator.
But you might get deal with that.
He clearly dealing with it.
I'd rather deal with that than a period being weaponized.
Dead ass though. Like, I mean, is there? My thing is, nobody is perfect, right? And when we can understand that,
I'd rather deal with that.
You're just not gonna get your perfect person, and you take what you need to take from it. If you want to deal with it, you deal with it. If you don't,
you don't.
Bye bye.
What's the saying? Is who you willing to put up with, basically.
How much you can take
Yeah.
Everybody's crazy. It's just what crazy you're
Everybody.
willing to deal with.
Thank you. Hello.
It's just what exactly?
Hello.
Say it again.
Everybody's crazy. It's what level of crazy you're willing to deal with, bro.
People be trying to act like niggas ain't out here crazy as hell. Everybody crazy.
I
For the
think
right
you're right,
person.
bro. What you think?
That's facts.
Yeah, we can close it.
Yeah, everybody can take.
Nick be on social media talking about some Darius and stuff like that. So we have
What'd I
our
say?
moment. You said Darius or something like that.
Darius, yeah. Hey, as men, we be on our Darius.
Darius is crazy.
I don't know about that, man. Let's get this out of
You be on your Darius.
I don't.
You never been on your Darius?
Nah.
You've never just been like emotionally unstable as a man?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're on your Darius, nigga. You been on your Darius before? Facts.
No, I'm never.
I'm not gonna do that on camera.
Have I been emotionally
This has a
unbalanced?
digital
Yes.
footprint.